This is Dr. Jack Barnathan with my good friend, of whom I have so much respect, the author of The Masterpiece Lies Within and an upcoming masterpiece on mentorship, Danny Beasley. Danny, it's great to see you, my friend.
Yes, sir. How are you tonight, Dr. Jack?
Outstanding, outstanding, Danny. Danny and I were having a conversation since last week and about uh, a situation, if you will, that is just seems to be getting worse and worse. And a statistic that I saw tonight that in one sport, the strength sport, bodybuilding, 56 athletes died in 2025. The average age was just 35, and the thought of so many athletes, and this is, yes, it's one sport that's been associated with drugs and performance enhancements and extremes, which is I was very involved with. I was an official, I was a doctor and judge, and when they stopped drug testing, I left. I was there just by way of reference. I was asked to be a judge because they were in the 90s, that far back. They were pushing hard to go back to physique, not freak. That was the motto, and Arnold came up with that, Schwarzenegger. But unfortunately, they tickets wouldn't sell. People wanted to see a freak show, and this was before the internet, where you could see every kind of freak show now from the comfort of your easy chair. But back then, to fill an auditorium, they just stopped doing the testing, and all these athletes dying because they're trying to strive for something, and it's fame, it's recognition, and the drugs are a problem, but they're not the problem, and Danny and I talked about this, and Danny, maybe you can you can comment the on this, because what you said to me was so strong. And I'm going to be sharing this with leaders in not just that sport, but I've worked with every sport there is in
Mhm.
my work as a sports science expert and a consultant, Danny. Your
Mhm.
thoughts on, like, the problem, if you will, uh, with all the drugs and the deaths, and of what these young people are striving for but missing.
Yeah. Uh, what you just said, I believe, is the first big key to it is the people wanting to see a freak show, yeah, of course it's money driven. The industry is setting the stage up,
Yeah.
to produce a product that unfortunately is hurting the participants, that's contributing to what that product is. And so I think it has to definitely start, Dr. Jack, and you know this, with the industry itself, and how the industry is set up for more of the viewership,
Mhm.
the participation, the
Yeah.
versus the athletes that are involved. But again, then it's a trap in a sense, because the athletes know what's expected. So for their livelihood, and of for their participation, they know they have to beat the next man, and then they do what they have to do to try to get the edge. And unfortunately, as we all know, that they take these turns, because natural competing against someone that's unnatural,
Yeah.
and then the people who's unnatural are getting the rewards. Then other people, I would think, kind of catch on and get involved in that same pattern. So I think the major part, which I believe you speak about so brilliantly, in a lot of your talks and a lot of your classes, is the industry itself is setting up the trap for individuals. But then you have the real people that's caught up in that spiral. And like you said, in other industries as well, throughout, and you can look at many different, outside of sports. You can
Yeah.
look at, even like, I watch UFC fighting, in a sense, and they're set up the same way. I mean, these guys are killing themselves to get to a level to where they can provide for their family and and uh and um and unfortunately they have to go through a lot of things that harm them to try to compete at those levels that are hard uh to obtain naturally,
Yeah.
you know. So to that effect, I think for me, Dr. Jack, talking about this subject, you can't really address the people involved until we really have a compassion and understanding of why they go as hard as they do, and the motivation for them to take these drugs a lot of times starts from just trying to put food on the plate for their families, you know.
Yeah.
So uh so I would never discount the human pressures that's involved in getting into an industry that unfortunately is tainted with so much baggage that comes along with it.
Yeah. It's you know what the drugs, yes, they're killing people and they're doing so much damage, but um it's not just the drugs. It's when somebody, like we've talked about, is missing something inside and they're like reaching for things that are uh they're not real. They're
Mhm.
not real. And even what they talk about in terms of the goals, it's like, oh, I'm gonna win. If I win this competition, then then I'm gonna have an opportunity for. And I've known so many over the years who it's like, oh, once I win this, and then they keep going and competing, and it's an addiction in a
Absolutely.
sense. Yeah. And I've also lost people who were patients of mine, people who did quit the stuff, some who I even got into rehab, but the damage that was done to their bodies when they
Yeah,
were was devastating. And it's just endlessly frustrating for me seeing, even I remember one of the competitors, I don't remember the numbers, but whatever the prize money was, it sounded like a lot of money, like $100,000. And he said backstage, I spent about $100,000 on drugs and drug doctors this year. And I'm
wow.
thinking, what the heck? Like, what? And there's something more inside that we're gonna have to talk about more, Danny. It's like
Yeah,
we're tapping into that spirit, then, and something we're definitely going to talk about next week, the people who do tap into that spirit, and there are those athletes who just find joy in
yeah,
what they do. It's like it's exciting to watch them because there's just this incredible uh passion for doing it. Uh
sure.
and we'll get into that more, but you just made some really important points, Danny. Danny Beasley, O3G citizen. Get on Danny's page and become part of the conversation with him. Thank you, Danny.
Yes, sir.